Hi everyone, I've been away for a few weeks, but I am back with a new video to celebrate Heritage Day, which is celebrated every year. So it's World Heritage Day. It's observed every year on 18th of April, which is when I'm releasing this video. And it's an internationally recognised day to preserve monuments and historical sites and the rich inheritance associated with them. The UNESCO World Heritage Site sort of says that, you know, the way we live tells a lot about our culture, and this is sort of one particular day that's entirely dedicated to celebrate the collaborative chronicles of the human race and culture. So I thought it would be really cool to pick 3 World Heritage sites that I've been to, but not so much the obvious ones. Because I looked through the list and I was like, oh, I've been to quite a fair few, but they were quite obvious ones. So I've picked 3, and I'm going to start with, I've just shown you the pictures of them. I'm going to start with the Mayan temples of Tikal. And in this sketch, I am just going to use this one brush, this Rosemary & Co. brush, which I've been reunited with after 1 year. I bought it, I left, and I never came back for a year, so I never really got to use this brush, so I'm actually kind of excited. And I've got my White Nights watercolours on hand, but I've also been reunited with my original watercolour set, which I also haven't used for well over a year, because again it's been here in the UK. So I'm quite excited just to experiment with these tools. As I said, I've picked 3 kind of not so obvious World Heritage sites, not the Sydney Opera House or whatever, something a bit different. And I'm going to paint each one and just try and use a completely different style for each one as much as possible. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm obviously going to speed these up now, and I'll just interject with comments here and there. So first of all, this brush, I love it. Again, Rosemary & Co. dagger brush. And I'm just laying down some watercolour there. There's so many pictures of Tikal in Guatemala, which are the old Mayan temples, pyramids there. But I really liked this one mainly because of the sky colour. You can actually see in the reference photo that the pyramid has a bit of construction going on, I guess some repairs or whatever, but I didn't include that. I just really liked the sky colour, so that's why I picked this one. I, as always, pretty much have no plan apart from just picking up a brush and seeing what happens. So I'm doing this in my usual Hahnemuhle sketchbook. I'm actually not really completely on purpose, but I actually use a different sketchbook for each one of these demos as well. So I hope there's quite a lot of interesting information in this video, really, because I again didn't really think it through so much as usual, but I think I've done 3 completely different sketches in 3 completely different ways on different paper and with different tools, so I think it's going to be pretty cool. But you'll see in this sketch that I'm pretty much just going with direct watercolour. I've painted in a bit of foliage, and now I'm just painting in the pyramid, and at the moment I know what you're thinking. It does look very childlike, but this always happens, and just got to push through and know that whatever you end up doing is going to make it look better than this. I'm also trying some different colours out of my old watercolour box, because I'll be honest, I have not got a clue what's in there and I really can't remember. I've actually just gone through and, after this, which arguably I should have done before, but gone through and swatched them all and found out what colours they are and what brand and whatnot. So yeah, probably should have done that before this, but that's fine. What I do like is though how on the right hand side of that pyramid I've used like Payne's grey and a pinky purple colour, both Daniel Smith, and how much they've really just beautifully run in together and but kind of separated. Oh, it just looks lovely. So I'm so excited about having these paints back. Here also is another tool that I have not been with for over a year, which is my Sailor Feud fountain pen. You can pick these up so cheap on Amazon. They're like £13, so I don't know, what's that, not even $20, like $18, maybe something like that. And a lot of sketches use these feud nib pens, and it's so cheap. You just buy a converter to go inside it, and you can fill it up with any ink you want to. As usual, I am using platinum carbon ink inside the pen. It's all I ever use, just because it works, and I've never really felt like I need to find anything else. So that's just what I use. So yeah, I've gone through with that bent nib fountain pen. And yeah, I was still kind of like, not too sure. But as I was adding the dark greens in, it really started to take shape. And I was like, oh, this is quite a nice, quick, loose-ish sketch. And I was like, really, yeah, I was really happy with how this came out. Sorry. So I think the key takeaway in this was just adding the darks. Like, that's what gives it all that punch, you know. I really enjoyed using this 1/2 inch dagger brush from Rosemary & Co. It's a sable blend, as you can see on the handle there. Highly recommend it. I know that Liz Steele uses this brush, and it's basically what she uses 99% of the time. And this is the Sailor Feud fountain pen, and as you can see, it's just got that bent nib. So it means depending on the angle that you draw with it, you can get different thickness, different line weight. So you can get some really lay down quite a lot of ink with it, or you can get some quite delicate lines as well, just depending on what angle you draw with it. It takes a bit of practice. I'm still, I'm pretty rusty with this now. I need to use it a bit more. But I think it will be something that will be coming with me in future, because I felt like I really missed it whilst I was away. And ditto for that Rosemary & Co. brush. I've got a smaller version, which is a travel brush, but that big version is awesome. Moving on to World Heritage Site number 2 that I've visited, which is Persepolis in Iran. Going to Iran was just one of my favourite trips in the world. I just really loved it. So I'd highly recommend getting over there. So the importance and the quality of these monumental ruins make it a super unique archaeological site. So I highly recommend visiting next time you're in Iran. No, I'm joking, but yeah, if you next time you can, when travel opens up, do consider going to Iran. It's a beautiful country, filled with beautiful people. So as I mentioned, I have switched sketchbook for this one, and I am using the Hahnemuhle toned watercolour sketchbook. I just thought it would lend itself quite well to this kind of subject matter. I've just returned from Egypt, and I did a lot of sketching in this book, again because it's the ancient world, and I don't know, it just seemed to suit the vibe of Egypt quite well using a toned book like this. So yeah, I thought it lends itself well to the subject matter. So this sketch did take a bit longer than the first one. The first one was really nice and quick, but it was quite a simple subject matter and quite a simple reference photo. Well, I simplified it, to be fair, but I like how it came out. This one is a tad more complicated, just because it involves like ruins basically, and these kind of statues, and yeah, so took my time a bit more. Again, it's quite a straightforward photo really, but it's just getting the details of the statues looking all right, so they don't look like weird puppet things. I don't know. Yeah, this one had a lot of scope to go wrong, so I was just trying to take a little more time over it. So yeah, I just drew out the basic shapes in pencil as normal, as I normally do, should I say. And then I am using my Tosabi Eco fountain pen, which is like my favourite fountain pen to draw with. Although you'll notice the end of it is just gross. It's like covered in ink. I don't know what's wrong with it. It seems to be leaking a little bit. And it's since I came on the plane back from Egypt to the UK. So I'm not sure if maybe something happened with the pressure, or I don't know. You guys, like, let me know if you have any tips for me on this, because yeah, it seems to be leaking kind of bad, and it's just all over my hands and all over my nice white pen. It's no longer nice and white. And I seem to sort of, wipe it all off and everything's okay, and then the next time I pick it up, it's just got ink coming out of it again. So I can't really see what the issue is, but yeah, hopefully it will just sort itself out in the next few days. But yeah, if you've got any tips for me on that, do let me know. So to colour this sketch, I thought I'd really go quite different, seeing as I am back in the UK with a lot of my art supplies around me, old art supplies should I say. I thought I'd use these Spectrum Noir watercolour markers that I've got sort of just sort of languishing in the corner of my room here. So my mum actually bought these for me a good few years ago as a gift. I know she uses them in her crafting stuff, making cards and all that stuff. And she bought me a set, which was very nice of her. I can't say I've used them a great deal, but I thought, why not have a go with them? And I've got, I think it's the entire set that they do. I don't know. I'm looking at them now. I'm not sure how many markers are there. Maybe like 40 or something. But they've got quite a nice selection of browns and stuff in them. So I thought that would be kind of cool actually for this this sketch. So I've decided to, I mean, you can't really tell what colour they are from the swatch on the marker. So obviously I'm just making a little chart here for myself so I can see which ones I want to use. And also how they look on the toned paper as well, because it's going to look different than on white paper. So with the Spectrum Noir watercolour markers, I'm just using a water brush, which is the Pentel water brush, yet another art supply that I have not had for over a year. And I really do think, I haven't tried too many versions, but I do think this is the best water brush I've tried. I have got the Caran d'Ache ones in South Africa, because I thought I'd try something different rather than buying these again when I realised I didn't have them and I wanted to have them. And I'm really disappointed, or I regret buying the Caran d'Ache ones because they're just not. I should have done a bit more research before I bought them, but they can be filled with water very strangely by pulling out, like almost like pulling out a syringe or something, like pulling out the end. Then that makes the brush really long, so you can't just like walk around with water in it because you might like accidentally push down on it. I don't know. They're just someone wasn't thinking, I don't think, when they made those brushes. But anyway, so I'd say avoid the Caran d'Ache ones if you want a water brush. I'd stick with Pentel. I think they're the best ones, really. I've used Derwent ones. What else have I used? And just some cheap craft ones. Yeah, Pentel's the best I've used so far. I'm putting in this really dramatic background, which was actually a bit of an accident. I did a little bit in the corner and I thought this was the colour I wanted, but then when I started using it, it's like, whoa, it is really crazy. But actually, it's kind of cool, you know. It's nice to do something different. Here I'm just putting a bit of a horizon line in a darker blue. And yeah, from now on it's just trying to amp up the shadows really, because that's really what, as I've mentioned before, really what makes the makes a sketch pop, is getting those shadows in and preserving those light areas, obviously. So it's a mixture of putting the shadows in, but also a bit of negative painting as well, like keep preserving the light areas. But yeah, I thought this had quite a lot of snap to it. I really like it actually. It's come out quite nicely. I was a bit annoyed with myself that I'd done a crazy background, but I think it works. So yeah, there is Persepolis for you in a totally different style. I think I probably could have made everything look a bit more craggly. That's probably not a word, but and a bit older. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. I just want to interrupt this video very quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I just want to let you guys know that I do have an online course available. I've just released it a few weeks ago. I've already had a lot of people sign up for it and people are loving it. So I'd love it if you could go and check it out. The link is in the description below. I take you through my travel sketching process in ink and watercolour to help you achieve kind of like the quirky kind of style of illustration that I do. So I take you through these 3 projects. So project number 1 is street furniture, which in my case I've chosen to do some road signs. I took a photo whilst I was driving Route 66, and so I thought it was a great project to start off with. The second project, we move on to something more ornate, so it's actually a door in Valletta in Malta. Valletta actually is a World Heritage Site, or a World Heritage City, so that slots in nicely to today's video. And so yes, that's just an ornate door. It kind of builds on the principles of the first lesson, and we just take things a little bit further. And then finally, the third project is of a building in San Miguel de Allende, which I just realised now is also a UNESCO World Heritage town. This is working perfectly. So yeah, the third project is just that bit more complicated. We're doing a whole building, and we also build on the lessons from the previous 2 projects. So if you like my style of sketching, travel sketching and illustration in ink and watercolour, and you're keen to learn how I sketch in this way, then just click the link below in the video description and go check out my new course, Sketchy Adventures in Ink and Watercolour. I take you through all of these projects in real time. I explain everything, even when I make mistakes, and how I deal with the mistakes. So I think you guys are going to love it. Also, 2 of these projects, project 2 and 3, are from my book, Sketchy Adventures Around the World, which shows 3 years worth of my travel sketches across 15 countries, 4 different continents. So again, if you like my sketches, then you will absolutely love that book. It's over 60 pages, over 130 of my ink and watercolour sketches, and my story as well, but not too much writing, mainly pictures, don't worry. So yeah, both products, the online course and the book, are linked in the description below, and I'd really love it if you could go and check those out when you get a moment. Okay, back to the video. So, moving on to the third sketch in the third style in a third different sketchbook. I think I'm just too excited having all of my art supplies around that I'm just like, I don't know what to use first, so I'm just going crazy and using everything at the same time. So this is the Cathedral in Léon in Nicaragua. Again, Nicaragua was an amazing country to visit. I don't think I mentioned Guatemala at the start, but Guatemala, I think, is actually my favourite country that I've ever been to so far. It just has everything. I just love it. But Nicaragua is also amazing. The people are amazing. The architecture is awesome. Volcanoes, all kinds of stuff. Just really, really fun. So, yeah, definitely recommend Nicaragua as well. So, and when I saw Léon Cathedral on the list, I was like, oh, I didn't realise that was a World Heritage Site. And I, again, thought that would be just something a bit different to do. I couldn't really find a very inspiring photograph of it, though, and I looked through my own photos of it, and I didn't really do a good job of getting it. I actually have better photos of some buildings in Granada in Nicaragua, which actually I would have liked to have drawn, but they're not World Heritage Sites, so I thought I'd better stick to the theme. But I eventually found this photograph, which was a bit more of a scene, and it made me nervous, which made me feel like, come on then, I have to do this. Because, yeah, I'm not one for doing a whole scene, if you know what I mean. I usually do just like a building or whatever. So I'm really need to push out of my comfort zone and like do things that I wouldn't normally be comfortable sketching. Especially when I'm at home. I've got no excuse to not do this at home. You know, so the more I feel I practice these kinds of crazy scenes at home, the more confident I feel I will be to capture them a bit quicker out and about, like on location and stuff. So yeah, so for this sketch I am using the Stillman and Burn Beta soft cover sketchbook. I bought this on Australia. I felt like it was incredibly expensive at the time, but I had run out of sketchbook space and I needed one, and I just really love Stillman and Burn. I've only used a couple of their sketchbooks, but I just love them so much. So I was actually really excited to get back to the sketchbook, but it's a big one. It's like 8 by 10 inches, I think. and it cost me a lot of money. I don't know if it's just because I was in Australia, because things are a bit more expensive there. But yeah, it makes me a little nervous to use it, and I hate that, because it's like, nope, I've bought it. It's just a book. It's just paper. By the time I finish this book, which will probably take ages, then I'll be absolutely fine to be able to spend another, $40-50 on one. So anyway, it's just that weird psychological block. So I pushed through that as well. I've been doing good at pushing through my fear in this video. And I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to see what happens. So I'm going to do a bit more in pencil than maybe I normally would, because it's a bit more of a complicated scene. So here again, another tool that I haven't used for over a year is the Pentel Pocket Brush, which is a black brush pen, which has kind of like a, I don't know if it's like a nylon tip or like some kind of brush tip on the end. I know these are also very popular with sketchers, and they lay down a lot of ink. And also the great thing about this pen is that it takes cartridges, so it's not like some of the other, like the Copic one I've got, or the Pigma Micron one I've got, where it's like once it's done, and you have to throw it away kind of thing. The Pentel Pocket Brush you can carry on using, buy the cartridges and stuff like that, so highly recommend that pen. So for the sketch, I'm going to use my older paints again, which are a mixture of Winsor & Newton, Daniel Smith, Jackson's, but I've also got my White Knights on hand as well, because there's a couple of colours in there that I think I will use, and I'm using my size 10 Escoda travel brush. This is a much bigger bit of paper than I'm used to using. I'm used to using that A5, so this is where big brushes like the size 10 are definitely necessary. And you can see I'm doing the vast majority of this painting with the size 10, and then going to do details a bit later with that Rosemary & Co. travel brush dagger one, which is smaller than the normal wooden handle one I've got. So I'm just playing with colours really. I've got this vibrant kind of orange in the old set that I've sort of mixed with a bit of quinacridone gold, and for the ground I'm mixing a bit of the Daniel Smith, I think it's the quinacridone rose and the Payne's grey, which just really work lovely together. They blend, but they kind of keep separated. I just really like the effect of those two colours together. I've forgotten how much I love these two colours together. And I feel like I'm struggling with the greens in my old set. Like one of them is a sap green by Jackson's, and I don't know, I'm just not loving it that much. And also the two Winsor & Newton ones that I had originally in the set, I think one's a sap green and one's a hooker's green, and I just really don't like them. I know I could mix up a green with my yellows and my blues, but I think I need to find my confidence with that set again, because I just don't know which yellows and which blues and whatnot do what. So I need to go through and just sample some green mixtures, I think. So actually later on I do just return to my comfort zone, which is using the Indian yellow and just the green. It's just called green in my White Knight set. It's interesting though, because I'm feeling like I'm getting to the point where I really have quite strong preferences about what paints I like, from what brands, and that's quite exciting really. So I know that I like this colour from Daniel Smith, and I know that I really love this colour from Winsor & Newton, yet I don't want to give up this colour from the White Knight set. So I think it's cool. I'm on a path to having a totally custom set soon, with just the colours I absolutely adore. It's just trying to keep it a bit more, not go too overboard and have too many colours. But yeah, it's exciting. I feel like things are going to really develop in that area for the next over the next year. But I'm super keen to try some new paints as well. But I'm just trying not to be a maximalist. I'm trying not to get too many things. But now I am back in the UK, I can get things here that I can't get my hands on in South Africa. So the temptation is great to buy things. So we'll see how that goes. But I've definitely got my eye on some Schmincke Horderam super granulation paints that I keep being advertised by Jackson's Art, and they just look so beautiful. So yeah, I might get. I think the smaller they do this like a set of, I think it's 5 colours, and the big tubes are like what, 14, 15 mil, something like that, and they're like £60. So what's that, like probably $80 US? And I'm like, oh, it's just a lot of money. But they actually do a smaller pack with 5 mil tubes in a cardboard box rather than a wooden box, for half the price. So obviously it's a lot less than half the paint, but it is half the price, and it makes it a bit less scary to try it out, I think. So yeah, watch this space. So those could be coming soon. I've got my eye on the Tundra set. I think that they've got some beautiful colours in that set. Obviously I would have them all, but I'm not made of money, so I think I just have to choose one, and I think that would be my choice. Let me know in the comments, have you guys tried out those super granulation colours by Schmincke? Yeah, they just look lush. Anyway, so I feel like this sketch is quite messy, but I quite like it. I really like the vibrant orange in the foreground, even though none of that is in perspective at all, and it actually looks really wobbly. I still think it kind of works. I think it adds some kind of interest to the sketch. I don't know. I actually really like it, even though it's completely implausible, and the water should be falling out of that fountain or whatever it is. I don't know. On some level, it just works, so that's okay. One thing I did completely mess up was the lion's face. I feel like I had it okay in the pencil sketch, and then I went off-piste when I did my pen lines, which happens. And I decided to do the growly open mouth like in the picture, and then it just looked ridiculous, but maybe I've managed to cover it up a bit with the paint, but that's okay. And yeah, I'm really liking the sky colour as well, because I've only had the bright blue in my White Night set, and it's a bit strong. Whereas the cerulean, I believe it's a cerulean blue in the Winsor & Newton set, it's just a bit more muted, and yeah, I was really happy with how that came out. And I'm just sort of trying to just add a few more shadows here and there. The lighting in the reference picture is really weird. I think this picture has been photoshopped. If you zoom in where the people are, it looks like it's been photoshopped, so it's a bit strange, but anyway. I'm really actually quite happy with how this came out, even though it is quite sketchy and it's a bit messy. I really think it still captures the scene. I know I sound really surprised right now, but I don't know. And I like sort of the basic simple people I've added in, which I learnt via James Richards' course on Craftsy, by the way. Check out the links below. A good few years ago, but I've just sort of started rewatching all those courses again. I love Craftsy so much. Sorry, I probably say that in every video, but love it. Really great for urban sketching videos. And also, just absolutely love this Stillman and Byrne sketchbook. I think this was my favourite sketchbook to sketch in today, doing these 3 different sketches. So yeah, highly recommend checking that out. Once again, it's the Beta sketchbook that I'm using here, but I've used the Zeta as well. I haven't used any of the others, but I think I might just buy myself a couple whilst I'm here in the UK, because I can't get them in South Africa. Anyway, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed checking this video out, and then it's been a bit of fun. Happy World Heritage Day, and I will see you in the next video.